Justice sits in class as her College Writing 2 instructor, Dr. Solomon, hands back a recent writing assignment. After handing back her assignment, Angela sees the words, "See me," with no grade written at the top of the first page of the assignment. Dr. Solomon gives Angela a look of concern and suggests that she come to his office hours. Angela is confused and doesn't understand what is happening.
Hugh Ashburn was in his dorm room checking his email when he ran across a message from Dr. Tuffman, who teaches the online writing and psychology course he is currently enrolled in. In the message, she accuses Hugh of copying and pasting large portions of a Wikipedia article, as well as articles from several web pages, into a paper he recently submitted. None of the articles were cited by Hugh. Dr. Tuffman attached the articles and Hugh's marked up paper, indicated where the copied content appeared. She writes in her email message to Hugh that she considers this to be one of the most egregious cases of plagiarism she has ever encountered and wants to know how Hugh can explain this.
Once an instructor has discovered a potential case of plagiarism, according to university policy on cheating and plagiarism, he or she is to inform the student as soon as is practical of the belief that an act of cheating or plagiarism has occurred. Depending on how the course is delivered, such communication could be in person, as was the case for Angela, or via email, how Hugh was informed. If possible, the instructor and student should try to meet in person to discuss the issue. Although many students taking online courses also take in-person courses on campus, faculty teaching online courses may prefer to manage those courses by communicating entirely through email. The important point is that the student needs to be alerted that there is a problem.
Angela walks into Dr. Solomon's office and shuts the door. He tells her that he found a problem with the paper he just handed back and wanted to discuss it with her. Although she properly cited an entire paragraph, she didn't put it in quotes. The wording seemed a bit sophisticated, so we checked the original source and saw that she copied the paragraph word for word, but did not put quotes around it. Angela admits that she initially used it word for word, but intended to go back and change it slightly, or as she stated, put it in her own voice. But she must have forgotten and left it in verbatim. With her other classes and having to work part-time, she confessed that she was rushed to hand it in on time.
Taken aback by the email from his instructor, Dr. Tuffman, Hugh composes himself and sends a somewhat defiant response, claiming he did nothing wrong. Although he did admit to consulting Wikipedia early in his research, he suggests that some of the information might have gotten stuck in his brain and reminds Dr. Tuffman that she told students not to cite Wikipedia articles in their papers. He also suggests there were many similarities between the articles he read, so there was bound to be content that was in common with his paper. He did not agree with Dr. Tuffman's assessment of his paper and denies plagiarizing. Dr. Tuffman responds to Hugh's email by stating that she does not believe his explanation excuses him of plagiarism. She points out that the content he used in his paper is nearly word for word from the sources she discovered, and she believes he deliberately changed a few of the words to make it seem like his own writing. She includes a link to the university's policy on cheating and plagiarism and informs Hugh that she will be consulting her chair and considering sanctions.
After a student is informed that there is suspected plagiarism, the policy states, provide the student an opportunity to explain orally, in writing, or both, why the student believes the evaluation of the facts is erroneous. Angela was given the opportunity in person by Dr. Solomon, but didn't find fault with his assessment and admitted she had made a mistake. On the other hand, Hugh does not admit to doing anything wrong and tries to explain why he believes the instructor, Dr. Tuffman, is wrong in accusing him of plagiarism. While not coming to any conclusion at this point, Dr. Tuffman suggests that Hugh review the university's policy on cheating and plagiarism and plans to consult her department chair before considering sanctions. The policy provides this opportunity for a student accused of plagiarism to explain his or her actions so that, if there is the possibility of a misunderstanding, faculty do not jump the gun and sanction a student before giving the student a chance to defend their work. Still, it can be the case that an assignment graded at the very end of the semester, for example, requires immediate action. Instructors can sanction a student without notice or the ability to respond to the accusation. In that case, the student will still have the option of appealing after the sanction is filed.
Dr. Solomon asks Angela if she is aware of the university's policy on cheating and plagiarism. Angela is startled and asks if he thinks she plagiarized. Dr. Solomon calms her down and informs her that, although she didn't intend to, Angela did technically plagiarize. He reads the policy's definition for plagiarism, emphasizing the part that reads, "without full and proper credit to the source of the ideas." He further explains that he will be sanctioning her by giving her 0 credit for the assignment, but if she agrees to something called Plagiarism School, he will give her a chance to revise the assignment by fixing the problem and get credit, not full credit, for the assignment. If she doesn't agree to Plagiarism School, she will receive a 0 on the assignment and have the option to appeal the sanction. Angela agrees to attend Plagiarism School. Dr. Solomon and Angela sign the Plagiarism School form, which indicates how Dr. Solomon will mitigate the sanction by giving Angela some, but not full credit for the revised assignment. He tells her to contact the library to schedule a Plagiarism School session with a librarian.
Hugh sends another email message to Dr. Tuffman. He continues to deny plagiarizing. However, since the course is required in his major, he doesn't want to have to pay a second time to repeat the course. He mentions that he read the policy and noticed a section on Plagiarism School. He asks Dr. Tuffman to allow him to take the Plagiarism School option so that he can rewrite his paper and complete the course. Dr. Tuffman ends their email correspondence informing Hugh that she still believes this is an egregious case of plagiarism. Hugh's explanations do not convince her otherwise. As a result, and because she believes Hugh committed a deliberate act of plagiarism, she will not consider Plagiarism School as an option. She will sanction Hugh by assigning him the grade of F for the course. After consulting with her chair, Dr. Tuffman is also recommending degree sanctions to the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences.
At this critical point in the process, if the instructor is still convinced that the student plagiarized, the policy states, if the explanation is deemed by the instructor to be inadequate, or if no explanation is offered, the instructor may impose one of the academic sanctions. The 3 academic sanctions an instructor can impose are: refuse to accept the work for credit, assign a grade of F or 0 for the assignment, assign a grade of F for the course. In Angela's case, Dr. Solomon chose the second sanction, assigning 0 credit for the assignment, but offered to allow Angela credit for the assignment if she completes Plagiarism School. It is an important fundamental aspect of the policy that no credit be given to assignments instructors believe to have elements of plagiarism. The mechanism in the policy that allows students to receive credit for a revised assignment is Plagiarism School. Both Dr. Solomon and Angela agree that Plagiarism School is an appropriate option. In Hugh's case, the instructor is convinced the student intended to plagiarize and does not agree to Plagiarism School. The student became aware of Plagiarism School as an option after reviewing the policy, but both instructor and student must agree in order for Plagiarism School to take place. In fact, Dr. Tuffman informed Hugh that she would be recommending to the Dean of the College of Arts and Science that he review this case and consider degree sanctions as well. The definition in the policy states, as a means to address less severe cases of student plagiarism, acts that may be considered by the instructor to be unintentional, the instructor may request that the student attend a remedial, private session administered by the university libraries regarding acceptable ways to document research. University libraries are responsible for conducting Plagiarism School because each campus has a designated library. Ethical use of information is a component of information literacy. Conducting sessions in the library offers a neutral, less imposing environment. Both the instructor and student must agree and sign a form that states how the instructor will mitigate the original sanction in return for the student completing Plagiarism School. The hope is that if the university can intercede when a student gets in trouble, and instead of simply punishing the student, remediation can be offered so that student is less likely to plagiarize in the future, then both the instructor and student benefit.
After contacting Jessica Wright, Instructional Services Librarian, Angela agrees to meet in the library for the Plagiarism School session. These sessions typically take 30 to 45 minutes. Jessica begins by informing Angela that she reviewed her assignment. She explains to Angela that using someone else's words verbatim requires the use of quotation marks. She also explains that simply changing a few words within a passage is not a good reason to paraphrase, not use quotes. Instead, paraphrasing is better used to summarize or consolidate an author's ideas, not to rewrite them by manipulating a few terms within the passage. Following the discussion about the assignment and how to fix it for resubmission, Jessica reviews the university's policy on cheating and plagiarism, provides Angela with some tips to avoid plagiarism in the future, presents and discusses a case study describing a situation where another student was accused of a similar act of plagiarism, and finally, Angela is given a short paper which has elements of plagiarism incorporated in it. She is asked to take it with her after the session ends to review it and to see if she can spot the plagiarism. It is hoped that students who can recognize plagiarism in someone else's work will be better able to avoid it in their own writing. As they end their session, Jessica reminds Angela that she now has the opportunity to rewrite the assignment and submit it for a grade, adding quotes to the cited reference. She also informs Angela that any future accusations of plagiarism will require her to appear before a university academic hearing panel where the sanctions could be more severe and that repeated offenses can result in suspension or even dismissal from the university. Finally, Jessica assures Angela that she believes she is a good student and simply made a mistake. Jessica lets her know that if she needs any future assistance, she can contact her or any librarian for help. Angela thanks Jessica and tells her that she is relieved to have this problem resolved and feels confident that she will not be accused of plagiarism again in the future.
Hugh receives an email from the Office of Student Conduct informing him of the sanctions filed by Dr. Tuffman. He will get an F as his grade for the course. Also, the matter has been forwarded to the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences for consideration of degree sanctions. Hugh could be thrown out of the psychology program. He responds to the email the same day, stating that he wants to appeal.
After receipt of a notice from the Office of Student Conduct alerting the student that a sanction has been filed, the student has up to 15 days to appeal. Once an appeal has been filed, the Office of Student Conduct will convene a hearing with an academic hearing panel, AHP. 2 faculty and 1 student will be selected to conduct a hearing to decide the outcome of any appeal. At the appeals hearing, it is the responsibility of the instructor or dean, depending upon the type of sanction, to prove that it is more likely than not that the student plagiarized. So the burden of proof is on the accuser. The student is not responsible for proving his or her innocence, but may have to address any evidence brought by the accuser. Both parties can call witnesses and cross-examine each other. Neither side can be represented by a lawyer.
A week after filing his appeal, Hugh is asked to attend a hearing with an academic hearing panel. At the hearing, Dr. Tuffman is asked to present evidence that Hugh plagiarized. She hands out copies of the Wikipedia article and 2 other web pages, along with Hugh's marked-up paper, the same information she had attached to her original email message to Hugh, and explains the similarities to the panel. As he did in his email response to Dr. Tuffman, Hugh attempts to explain why he does not think what he did constitutes an act of plagiarism. The panel asks both Dr. Tuffman and Hugh questions about the case. At about 30 minutes into the hearing, Dr. Henry Weichler, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, enters the hearing room. Once the AHP concludes questioning both parties, he asks to address the panel. Although he wasn't able to officially report this to the Office of Student Conduct, he did review the case against Hugh to decide if degree sanctions were appropriate. He turns his attention to Hugh and tells him that he is troubled by the paper he submitted in Dr. Tuffman's class. However, since Hugh has not been accused of plagiarism or cheating in the past, he is not going to file any degree sanctions. He warns Hugh that any future acts of plagiarism could jeopardize his ability to obtain a degree in psychology. Hugh thanks Dr. Weichler and asks the panel to please consider his appeal as the hearing ends. 1 week after the hearing was held, Hugh gets a letter from the academic hearing panel. His appeal was denied. He will receive an F for the online writing and psychology class taught by Dr. Tuffman and must retake the course in order to complete the coursework for his psychology degree.
Instances of plagiarism can be difficult to resolve. Students need to know what the university expects with regard to academic honesty and realize the consequences of being accused of plagiarizing. Students also need to understand their rights according to the university's policy. Kent State University recognizes that students are not always fully prepared for researching and writing at the college level. Through education and rehabilitation efforts, such as Plagiarism School, Kent State provides the tools to allow students to successfully complete their degrees. It is hoped that this video and accompanying materials will serve as tools to help students avoid behaviors that could call into question the integrity of their academic work.